In 2064, cybernetic advances have completely changed society. Humans are implanted with robotic enhancements, spliced with other species to cure diseases, and much more. Those opposed to the technology uprising formed together to protest as the Human Revolution Group. Plunge into the cyberpunk mystery adventure in an increasingly tension-rising civilization. 2064 Read-Only Memories is available on PS4, Vita, Xbox One, PC, and now for the first time, Nintendo Switch for $20. It's the year 2064 in the hip cyberpunk city of Neo San Francisco. Companies like Parallax are fueling the cybernetic revolution with the Relationship and Organizational Manager robots, or ROM for short. They're basically advanced robot assistants ripped out of the movie iRobot. While the majority of the world has openly adopted the wonders that technology has brought to the human civilization, a small group of people known as the Human Revolution has begun to protest the technology uprising. They fight for the preservation of humanity in a world that lets humans mold themselves with robotic parts and even splice themselves with other species to cure diseases like cancer. It's in this world that you play an upcoming journalist that reviews technology products as a freelance job. One morning you're woken up by a ROM named Turning who comes looking for your help. Your friend and their creator has seemingly gone missing in what seems like a perfect orchestrated kidnapping to hurt Parallax, the company your friend works for. Through a series of events, you come across different personalities that help you on your journey from an old comp friend to a hybrid human that's been screwed over by the government system. 2064 Read-Only Memories' story is incredibly socially progressive. There's openly gay men of many ethnicities in this world, and the story even opens up by asking you what pronoun you'd like to be identified with. It tackles themes of racism, civil rights, stereotypes, and prejudices without actually having them be about ethnicity specifically. Instead, they're covered through the increasingly controversial use of robotics and science with humans. It's fascinating to see themes like this tackled in a video game so openly, but to say it doesn't dwell on them for too much would be a lie. The narrative, though interesting at times, was still rather predictable in its outcome, with a not-so-strong finish outside of the strong chemistry between the protagonist and Turning the ROM robot. What really was the best part of the story was the cast of incredibly varied personalities. Each of the characters felt unique from each other, adding in their own points of view of this vastly different world from ours. Gameplay for Read-Only Memories is structured similarly to a classic adventure game of the past. The visuals on screen are split in two, with the bottom half being dedicated to dialogue text. The top half is focused on the actual game. On the left you can see the character you're currently speaking to, or world actions that you can do in the scene you're in. Using the analog sticks on your controller, you can hover over objects in the area and interact with them. You can investigate, use, speak to, or use a different item with said highlighted object. It's very similar to point-and-click adventures, only way less challenging when it comes to puzzles. 2064 Read-Only Memories feels like a combination of both a point-and-click adventure game and a visual novel. Oftentimes you'll spend a good amount of time just reading long conversations between the characters, especially when you're questioning a new character for intel. In these moments, it feels more like a visual novel as you can spend minutes in one specific area just learning about a new character. In investigations where you're looking through a room or trying to find a clue, you're interacting with objects like an adventure game, occasionally solving a puzzle. The puzzles aren't challenging by any means though. They can be as easy as finding a memory card on the floor to put inside of a tablet in your inventory, or finding the correct flavor of a cocktail for a character that you want to talk to. It's really easy to figure out, and more there just to space out the long conversations. Aside from the traditional gameplay, there are tiny sections where you'll branch out into a grid shooter. It's a mini-game of sorts in the form of an arcade machine at a local bar, another simple distraction from the traditional gameplay formula. Overall though, I found the gameplay to be straightforward and easy to pick up. It ultimately did feel more like a visual novel than an adventure game, but the general experience was a rather enjoyable one. Playing on the Nintendo Switch, gameplay felt perfect for a handheld device. Being able to play on the monitor on my desk all day and then transition to my bedside at night really did help sell the gameplay as this interactive book I was not only reading, but playing. Bearing that in mind, it's a rather slow game with little to no action, and so if you enjoyed adventure games for their challenging puzzles, this will likely be a different feeling to that. It still feels somewhat like an adventure game, but really more like a visual novel than anything else. Presentation is excellent with Read-Only Memories. It takes place in this futuristic advanced time setting but is shown off with retro graphics. The portraits of characters are done well to convey their emotions and their dialogue, despite being so simple looking in the actual scenes. Speaking of scenes, they take up such little real estate on screen since the gameplay is split in two halves. The Switch version in particular has some extra bonus content like a video theater to rewatch cutscenes and view cut content from behind the scenes of the game, some extra visual aesthetics that weren't in other versions of the game. Ultimately, whether I was playing on the big screen TV or on my Nintendo Switch in handheld mode, the visuals translated well to either screen size, feeling like a true interactive book experience.
That device. I find it rather annoying that he prefers to go basic.
Oh geez, this really is my favorite drink. I have to wake up early for class, but I'm at the club, so I guess I'm already too deep in.
They say that ROMs, now commonplace thanks to Parallax, are leading humans to a place where we can never come back, losing the survival skills that we have relied on for millennia.
2064's cyberpunk aesthetic is only better delivered with a soundtrack that captivates and enchants the setting. From the opening that welcomes you to Neo San Francisco to the main theme song, music overall is just funky, techno, and very catchy. It's music that I can totally see playing in a cyberpunk themed bar, walking down the streets of a Blade Runner 2049 Los Angeles, or just a grid from Tron. The cast of characters are also well voice acted, for the most part. While the talent is great, I think there was a bit of odd choices in the casting, like Jim Sterling playing a mostly calm and content human revolution leader. Jim Sterling is a talented performer, but it's definitely not the character I'd have him play in this game. He's well known for his rants and his heated editorial pieces, and so I think he would have been better as a more angry character, if you will. Generally though, the cast of characters are well performed, with just about everyone having fully voiced dialogue. My personal favorite performances were by Melissa Hutchinson and Dave Fennoy, who both worked on the Walking Dead series but are both in this game. They really nailed their parts as the ROM that's helping us throughout our adventure and the narrator of the story. There's also great use of HD Rumble in the Switch version to mimic the sound of robots operating when they speak. It was a really nifty way to use the HD Rumble in the Joy-Con without having it feel too overused. "2064 Read-Only Memories" tackles modern social issues with a blanket cover of being about futuristic technology issues. Its story was mostly predictable, though was often remedied by the highly admirable cast of characters from different backgrounds. Gameplay was straightforward and easy for anyone to get into, though if you're not a fan of the visual novel genre, this is most certainly not a game that's going to change your mind. There are puzzles here, but not that I found challenging, and instead were mostly just to space out the reading. For fans of the visual novel genre or just the cyberpunk aesthetic, I think 2064 is a solid game to pick up, and even though I wasn't shocked by the outcome of the story, it's one I enjoyed experiencing with its cast of characters. If I had to give it a score, I'd give 2064 Read-Only Memories an 8 out of 10. That does it for my review of 2064 Read-Only Memories for the PC, Xbox One, PS4, Vita, and Nintendo Switch. If you enjoyed the video, then please be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more reviews just like this every single week, and you can check out my most recent videos on the left side of the screen. In the description you can find links to all my social media accounts, including my Discord server if you want to join it. Thank you all very much for watching, hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next one.